All right, folks, welcome back to the show. Yes, Ratih, you're looking good. Match with the sofa and also your hair. I love it. We're going to introduce you to Ratih Ibrahim just right after this one, though. Again, we're coming back to the show, marking the first talk show of the day. By the way, we're going to talk about something that is very sensitive, but I just need to give, the spotlight to Paul Palila. He's just one of the best, father that I know, other than my husband. Really hands-on with his kids and also his wife. So again, I think they're very lucky. You're the lucky star for your family. But of course, you should also count your lucky stars if you live in a home where both parents are present, or if you have equal access to both of your parents. This is because millions of children around the globe are unfortunate enough to live through each day without a father or even male role models.
It's very sad to imagine. And according to data from a U.S. Census Bureau report that was taken back in 2021, 18.4 million children live without their fathers. This has indicated that the U.S. is going through a crisis of sorts of father's absence, which affects 1 in every 4 children. This includes the absence of biological, adoptive, or even stepfathers.
All right, so how does this all impact child or children development? To find out, we'll have a chat, of course, right here sitting with me in our sofa, clinical psychologist and personal growth co-founder, Ratih Ibrahim. Good morning, Ratih. It's so good to see you. Usually I will see Ratih in my personal time, but this time it's professional, but also for us to have...
Too humble. Just too humble. Because usually we have all the chat during coffee time,
yes,
high tea.
That's right. And now we're here today in the studio.
Many stories about how we raise our children.
Definitely.
She's a very, very fine mom.
I know that for sure.
Very darling and loving.
I'm also one of her children. She calls me my daughter. I'm her daughter.
I always call her my daughter.
Now,
the daughter that I never have. So I'm so lucky to have her.
Now, Ratih, and also Paul, you were mentioning actually data from U.S., but please allow me to also, there's also a data from Indonesia, the National Population and Family Planning Agency, or known as BKKBN, had said that fatherless phenomenon of absence of a father figure, either physical or psychological, can affect resiliency of families. These include criminality, domestic violence, and teenage pregnancy, because children who grow up without a father may experience mental and emotional problems, have difficulty interacting with their peers, and be affected by health issues such as psychosomatic, physical, emotional, and sexual violence. So with that said, how important to have a father figure in a household or for children?
Definitely very significant, important. Well, actually, that fatherless issue is not something new, but nowadays we are more caring about the issue. Why? Because everybody wants to develop a fine, very good, well-being, healthy human talent of Indonesia.
Yes.
And it comes from home. It comes from our family. So I think it's not just Indonesia. It is the whole world really have that urge to give the most, to have that future, because the children is the future leaders of us.
Yes.
So if we can provide the best parenting, very conducive for them, so why not? So we realized that mother and father together, we can be as a partner in doing the parenting to give the optimum facility and love and caring, like you as a dad. I can see how good you are.
Thank you.
Because actually we can see the happiness of a person, and it will represent the way you do the parenting. And happy parents will automatically give the happy ambience at home. And it will help the children to grow very, very good, very well, and happy and fulfilled. So it's not just a mother job to do that. It's also the father. So how important it is, it's significantly important, as I said. It will help our children to grow, as we know that children needs not just have the good nutrition, but also loving, the love, the stimulation, and by presence of the father, it will be a complete
Yes.
package.
A whole
for our
package.
children.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting perspective, Bharati, that you mentioned in regards to our own mood and our own attitudes can be kind of affecting our
Definitely.
children, because sometimes that can be a negative thing. Like if you have a bad day at work, sometimes you get home and then you're still in like a grumpy mood,
Yeah.
and that can
Yeah.
actually reflect in our children's attitudes as well, right?
Yeah, and yes, definitely yes. And this is the interesting ones is when you said that the fatherless because of the divorce, because of the father has to work somehow.
Absentee
Yeah?
father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I found in my practice, the daily practice, that the father and the mother actually live at the same home, but they just absent. So the children will be growing lonely, yeah, because even though you sit next to each other,
Right.
but you are not connected.
Yes.
Physically, you're there.
Yes.
but
Physically,
mentally
you're
not
there and not. I remember my son. It was long time ago. Well, I still busy. Well, I can be the very good psychologist, but sometimes as a human being, yeah, I have also the lack of existing for my son. So my son, he said, "Mom, you know what? You're here, but you're not here for us. You're not
Yeah.
here for me." And it's literally slapped me on the face, and I realized, as you said, that our mood, our presence together, and being not just present but also engaged with our children, that's very, very significantly help them to feel love, to feel connected, and it will give them the sense of fulfilling,
Yeah.
fulfilled,
Yes.
being loved, and it will help them to grow as a holistic individual. Yeah.
I want to add something that I read very recently, actually,
Yes.
Bharati. It's interesting that you said that, because I read that, you know, it doesn't matter how many, we think that as parents, just because we get them to school and get them home, bring them to their extracurricular activities, and all of
Yeah.
these things you plan
Make
on the
them
weekend.
busy.
It really doesn't matter if you're only doing these things for the sake of doing it,
Yeah.
but you may be holding your phone the entire
Right.
time and
Definitely.
things like that. You actually, sometimes they can just spend the whole weekend at home, but if
Yeah.
you're there and you don't have your gadgets with you, they'll remember that feeling better
Correct.
than they
Yeah,
remember all the
yeah.
activities that they did.
Because actually what they remember is not, actually what they remember is the mood.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yeah,
right.
The
That's
emotion,
exactly what I
Yes.
the
meant.
engagement
Correct.
that they have. And
Yeah.
they will bring it until the rest of their life.
Right.
I'm not against phone and all the digital
Gadgets, yeah.
technology, yeah. But actually when the gadgets steal us from our children or steal them from us, that will be a disaster.
Right.
But we can use that together, yeah. For example, like we're having dinner and my son will bring, "Mom, look at the animation that
Yes,
I made."
Right.
So we watch together and having the conversation together. Now that's okay.
But because you're doing it
It
together.
becomes
Yes.
a tool
Correct.
that,
Yeah, becomes a
connected
tool
to
to
each other.
connect.
Now, but I think we know that we're living in an Asian region where usually the paradigm is like women is usually, or the mother usually the one that's have to be there with the children, and that the father is the provider. As long as I still provide food, you still have the roof on your head, you have, transportation, whatnot, I did my job. So
Yeah.
how can we see more and more nowadays that father is more just like you, Paul,
More
being engaged with more involved and engaged. But what do you think about, the culture that is still there, maybe for people thinking
stigma, right?
Yeah, that
Like,
stigma
man,
that
I just
men
have
is the
to-
one, yes.
the breadwinner.
I don't need to have a
Well,
connection with my children.
Well, it's so sorry that many of us, actually, it's not just Asia, but it's happened. The whole world is also experiencing the same. But fortunately, I see that many fathers nowadays are more engaged and involved
Yes.
with the parenting, and that's good. And talking about how women now, like you, becoming very educated, independent,
Real woman.
and also financially able to be as a partner with the husband, yeah, to
Yes.
provide good, decent life for children. So it's okay. And nowadays I can see many modern father also put themselves really engaged with the parenting. Even though they are very busy, probably has to go outside the country probably because of work. They still can engage with the parenting. Why? We can use the technology.
Yeah.
We can set our time and have a date with the family, like having dinner together, just the
Video
gadget.
call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
video call, yes, and praying together and have the conversation. It's really making the quality time using the technology.
Yes.
And that also can be done.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, basically, no excuses, right?
Right.
We have all these tools now that we didn't have before.
So
Yeah.
the most important is how we put ourselves.
Are we willing to do it? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say I don't get a lot of sleep at night. let's go back a little. Let's rewind a little bit. Should a couple discuss these things before they even have children? Between a
Yes.
man and a woman's role?
Yes.
Because a lot of times you see marriages start to get rocky. Well, it's because it's not
Yes.
clear who's supposed to
Yeah.
be doing
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
Is this something that should be planned a little bit better? Before?
Definitely. Well, as an old cookie,
Not that old.
yeah. I saw many couples struggling in their marriage. Well, struggling couples, of course, will not able to give full in doing the parenting because their love is also in challenge.
Yes.
So I agree with you. Let's discuss that before you go further. So such as, are we compatible? Are we having that right chemistry to
Yes.
each other? Are we respect each other? Are we can grow together as couple? Are we will do anything at all to make the love survive?
Yeah.
And then after that, and then before you put yourself into that marriage,
Yeah, union.
that commitment, you also plan when anticipate the moment, when that we are ready to have children, how many children that we are going to have.
Right.
It's good to have plan, Caroline,
Yes.
because I saw like many couples like, as many as possible. That's not realistic.
Yes.
And how we'll do the parenting.
Yeah.
What school that we are going to send our children and how we're going to do it together. So being married and parenting actually is a partnering.
Yeah.
So it's not just you, Caroline, you do all the children things,
Yes.
and I go for that man things. As long as you said that I can provide you with a financial stability. It's
Yes,
not that.
right.
The engagement is needed because a boy will see the figure as a man that he should be by looking to the father.
Right.
For a daughter, a dad is the first love.
Right.
The hero.
Yes.
Yeah, the superhero. Like, well, we can see how we relate with our father.
Right.
And for the boys, the father is the role model. So he will understand and he will copy actually the way his father behaved, the way his father bring himself. Like that.
This is how to be a man.
You know what? Speaking of this, actually, I just want to share a little bit of my story. Before I was married, I told my husband that I love to work. This is my passion. And I've said that since the get-go. And, you know, if we were going to have this union, then you still have to accept me that I still want to be productive.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, and he still kept his word until now. What we just haven't been,
Very
you know.
nice man.
Yeah, thank you, Ratih. But it's just that he wants more kids, and I'm like, yo, age is, we're done right now.
Well,
But-
before I got married, my husband said we should have like 6 to 8 children,
6 to
all
8.
boys. And I said, well, you can have that, and then after that I will go into a kos-kosan.
That's a big number of football team right there. But Ratih, sorry, I just want to, go back to our discussion. And because you were just saying that a boy looks up to the father and they're as a role model.
Yeah.
And then for a daughter, they're the superhero, right? The first love of a daughter.
Yeah.
So what happened if the father is not there to become that role model
is the
for either the boy or for the son or the daughter? What is going to happen
That
to
will
their
be
future?
very, very sad. Yeah, well, you can see how the research survey said that all we already mentioned
Yes.
before. But let's do the best. Let's do the most with all the resources that we have. So being a single mom, for example, we can put ourselves as strong as possible. Yeah,
Right.
we can see our resource and optimizing that, and we can go into our family like brothers,
Right.
yes, fathers and uncles, yeah, to become the role model. Because, yeah, don't jump into more husbands.
Right.
That's not
Yeah,
necessarily the best
that's not
solution.
the
Or
solution.
you lower your ego so then you have a good co-parenting with the
Yes, yes.
husband or the ex-husband in this matter.
Yeah. And for all the father, yeah, somehow you have your children. So whatever the reason is, you still a father. So make sure that you also has that sense of being responsible,
True.
Right.
and connect with the children, because as we already discussed, every children come from heaven. It's not just someone.
Yeah.
It's God. Trust us
Yes.
to have them.
A blessing.
So please have that
Yeah.
in our mind.
It's a lifetime
in our
responsibility.
life.
Yeah.
Yes,
isn't it?
definitely.
Yeah. And I'm very interested in the fact that you keep on mentioning that the union has to be good between the two. I always compare it to strong management. If you have strong management, then any company and its employees will follow suit and you'll have a great team.
Yes.
Kind of like the family dynamic as well. If you have a husband and wife that aren't already getting along, then
Yeah.
it's very difficult to raise children with good values as well.
Definitely.
So you did touch upon single moms. I perhaps would like to ask you, what is it that single moms need to do when there is an absentee father? What is the most important thing that they need to do extra for their children in replacement or perhaps to compensate for an absentee father?
Actually, I found many single moms who can really solidly educate their children and also their sons, becoming strong, complete men. So when we are not glorifying the suffering, the drama in our life,
Yeah.
and probably make our children as a bahan tonjok-tonjokan.
Yeah. So it became
Sansak,
actually, yes.
yeah. So
Punching bag.
we put a punching bag. Yeah, we have to gather ourselves. Yeah, well, and of course, faith is very important. And we can, as I said, we can actually look to our resource, our father, our brothers, uncles, yeah, the good one. And we can also always deliver the good message, positive one, to our children about somehow we have us,
Yeah.
and it's enough.
Right.
And we can do the best and the most of our life, not glorifying the drama.
Yes.
We can survive. We can always be anything that don't kill us make it stronger.
Right.
Very true.
Yeah.
And we'll be okay.
You know, actually, this is what I told, or actually what I told, and also my husband told to our children that, you know, a parent, I always said this to my husband, that our children cannot choose their parents, right? If they can
Definitely,
choose their
yes.
parent, they would choose the best that they think that's good for them. So then as a parent, we have to give our best version with our imperfection and our flaws.
Yes.
And that's why we have to strive very hard for our children, because again, they can't choose their parents, but we can choose to become our best version ourselves, to become the best for our children. I think
Well
that's
put.
the best key to a good parenting.
So what do we need? Love and commitment.
There you go. Yes, indeed.
Very simple.
Love and commitment.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ratih Ibrahim. It's
Always
always
welcome.
great to have you here. Next topic will be about marriages.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ratih, for
Thank you
dropping
so
by.
much.
We wish we had more time, but we do have to take another short break. But when we return, in case you did join us late, we will update you and recap some of our earlier stories from around the world. Stay with us. The C Morning Show will be right back.